My favorite athletes of all time, my top 15. I could have done top 500, but I decided to do 15 with an honorable mention, so it's going to be 16. And no, I don't mean any of the artists or martial artists from the movies like Bruce Lee, for example. He's my god, obviously, but he never competed. So I'm talking about sports. I'm talking about competing in sports. So my favorite top 15, and let's begin with the honorable mention. I could not leave this guy out of the picture. I'm not a huge soccer fan. I really am not. However, I mean, he's a beast. He wins everything. He's probably tired of winning. Besides, they always say that he's the first one to get into practice, the last one to leave. He always does homework. He does a lot of gym work, which is, nowadays it's more often used, but still, it's not something that most soccer players are into. And you can see in the youngsters that they really just want to play soccer. They don't really want to go to the gym. So working out or training their body besides soccer, besides their special skill, is definitely very important. So he knows that, and that's why he's the best. I don't give a
Shit.
I don't give a flying about the steroid conversation. He did steroids, they all did steroids, I don't give a But this guy won 7 times the Tour de France, after having had a testicle cancer. I mean, talk about resilience. And I read his book on what he went through when he went through the cancer treatments and chemotherapy. Damn, kudos. Next one, Ray Lewis. He's a beast inside and outside the field. Like every major motivational reel with a classical tune behind to get you pumped will have some sort of speech, tackle, or working out a clip of this guy. He was the fire on one of the best defenses of all time in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. So whenever I look at him, I'm pumped right away. I want to go tackle somebody. Okay, getting back to soccer. If there's one thing about soccer, or this specific player, whenever I think of soccer, I think of him. I'm not a soccer fan, just like I told you before, but this guy makes me want, or made me want to see and really feel soccer, if that's possible. Maradona. He had such a crazy engine. And you see a lot of the soccer players, whenever they get a little touch, they go down, it's like, oh, foul, they're crying foul. This guy would go down, he would get up, and he would continue to run, and then he still scored goals. It was amazing. We all know he had a hard time, but, we got through it. We forgave him. I forgive you, Maradona. Oh, the 90s. The 90s was all about O.J. Simpson and this guy. Man, he could jump over 3 guys and still dunk the frickin' basketball. Who doesn't love Jordan? Maybe it's my fault that you didn't see that failure gave me strength. Maybe I led you to believe that basketball was a God-given gift and that I did not work hard for it. Or maybe you were just making excuses. God damn, best commercial ever. Now remember, this is my list. So some of these sports are a little bit biased for me because I started practicing wushu when I was 9 years old, kung fu. So Yen Wen Chin was the thing in the 80s and 90s. So most of the forms that we know that are more modern day forms of wushu are based on a lot of his movements. So this guy was pure 10. If there was a Nadia Comaneci with a perfect 10 of wushu, this would be her, him, it. Now, one of the guys that I got to interview myself through podcast, through Willow podcast, so you can check it out. The link is going to be on the description. Jerry the Golden Boy Trimble. He was two-time world champion in kickboxing, and his show reel or his fight reel is one of the greatest things you'll ever see. He kicked from every angle, broke a lot of noses, I guess, but he also became an action film superstar, so kudos to my boy Jerry. Next one, the human dumping truck from New Zealand, Jonah Lomu. It's so sad that he passed away like 2-3 years ago, maybe more. I mean, time flies by so fast, but you know, rest in peace, Jonah. We will always remember your runs, you know, running through like 10 guys in a row and scoring a touchdown. A try. I know. There's a lot of CrossFit haters. I myself am not enjoying CrossFit as much as I used to, but I used to a lot, especially the competition. Don't worry about the programming, don't worry about the elderly people, don't worry about the kids. I mean, a lot of stuff can be said for strength and conditioning versus CrossFit, and I know that a lot of CrossFit coaches don't have what it takes to teach a real class in terms of strength and conditioning and programming, but Rich Froning is a beast. I just love his simplicity in his work ethic. I mean, he just works out. And you can really tell that even if you're a CrossFit hater, you can say that those events are crazy. And they have like, I don't know, 15 to 20 events over the course of 4 days. Whatever you throw, whatever ball you throw at him, and Matt Fraser as well, but Rich Froning was there in the beginning. So I grew up a little bit with this CrossFit thing. I grew up watching Rich Froning. So I'm like, yeah, Rich Froning is in my heart in a way that Matt still isn't, but might be one day. But I gotta be honest, I love Rich Froning. I love to see those CrossFit games where he was king. Number 6, my buddy. No, this is not the Wax Museum. I got to meet Arnold. Yeah, he shook my hand. I never watched it again. 7 times Mr. Olympia, and owner of one of the greatest, if not the greatest, physique ever. I love the old school bodybuilding days where they did not have that bloated, huge bloated gut, and they had those perfect lines and symmetry like Frank Zane, like Franco Columbu, rest in peace Franco, like Mike Menzer, and Arnold was, and still is, numero uno. One other sport that I always followed a lot is the strongman, the strongest man in the world, and this guy had it all. He was a tank when it comes to strength, because a lot of the events were not only based on pure strength, like who can lift the most, but who can lift more reps, for example, or who can do a sort of a medley where you catch a lot of weights. First, you do the farmer carries for the most or the biggest amount of distance. You do the sandbags. So a lot of this work had to do with cross training for strength and not merely just strength itself. It's not like powerlifting. Even though nowadays the strength or the tonnage is building up and these guys are getting to be huge monsters, in this era, which I prefer, it was more like crossfitting with a ton of strength. And Mariusz Pudzianowski from Poland won 5 times the world championship. So go figure. Number 4, considered by ESPN the best athlete of all time, Bo Jackson. They even had a commercial where he played like every sport. Why? Because he was playing baseball and football at the same time. Just pure explosion, speed, power. That's what I like about the guy. He says that he doesn't even go to the gym. I mean, he just went to the gym and did like a couple of exercises for his neck and then worked out like a beast. I mean, this guy was really built for power. Jet Li, Li Lianjie. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. He won 5 times in a row. So from 12 to 17, he won every major national competition in China for wushu. And this is a big deal because competition there is ferocious. I mean, you can look at the top 10 and say, I don't know how to choose. Not only is he a martial arts movie hero, but he's also a great competitor for the Beijing Wushu team. I even know his instructor or coach, Wu Bin. Wu Bin. Wu Bin is his shifu. Now, number 2, Brian Dawkins. Man, this guy is just pure energy and motivation. Whenever I hear him speak, I want to go work out. The way he entered the field playing that Wolverine type character, the way he spoke to his teammates, the way he does not curse but still gets the message through, you know. You can see talent, you can see dedication, you can see a lot of motivation, and a beast on field as well. And at last, my number 1.
I am the greatest.
I told you, all of my critics, I told you all that I was the greatest of all time.
Who doesn't love Ali? Yes, this is a great hook right here. Like, you are.
I must be the greatest. I'm the world.
Oh, easy. Yeah, easy, Tiger. Yeah, you shook up the world. Just like George Foreman said, the guy who he beat, calling this guy a great boxer, or calling him a boxer for that matter, is missing out on what he really was. I mean, he's one of the greatest human beings ever, and with the most influence. I mean, the way he spoke in interviews, the way he was a martyr for the black cause, the way he did refuse to go to Vietnam War, and by so having 3 or 4, I think it was 4-year suspension from the rings. I mean, all of this made him into a great character, not only inside the ring, but outside the ring. So I must say that this guy, in my book, is the greatest athlete ever. And when it came to punching guys, yeah, he knew how to do it. Now guys, I know that this is really an unfair list. A lot of people should be in this list. I'm thinking about Kobe Bryant, I'm thinking about Conor McGregor, I'm thinking about a million guys. So this is my list based on my experience and my perception in the sports that I love the most. It's not like I don't love basketball, MMA, or other types of sports. I really do love them, but I mean, it's really tough to pick out a list. What I do say, however, or I do tell you is, I want you to put in the comment section below, I want you to put your top 3 athletes of all time, okay? Tell me what you think and why. Let's make this a huge inspiration for all of us. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe and tell everybody. Be Willow strong. On to the glass. Here, obviously in the movie, they don't show you what goes wrong, only in the bloopers in the end. But that glass really tore his face. So not only does this show an incredible physical ability, but also the devil is in the details. Super Cop, aka Police Story 3.